Okay, so my name is Bilal and we'll be solving additional mathematics session Feb March year 2023 and variant 2, that is paper 2. Now moving on, before moving on, I need to make an announcement that would be that the revenue generated for the first 6 months will go to Palestine. So do like, share and subscribe our channel for related videos like this. Now starting from question 1, that is on the axis below, sketch the graph of y is equals to 4 cos 2x modulus for 0 till pi, giving the coordinates of any points where the graph meets the axis. We need to give the coordinates of where the graph meets the axis. Now let's first make the graph of 4 cos 2x, then we will make it modulus. For 4 cos 2x, we need to first identify what would be our amplitude. 4 would be our amplitude, and this 2 tells us how many waves will be generated. Waves will be generated in 2 pi range. Now since 2 pi range will have one wave, so this is an understood thing. So let's start by first making a cos graph. Let's label it first. That would be pi by 4, this would be pi by 2, and this would be 3 pi by 4. So we will be starting at 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll be starting it from 4 since amplitude is 4. This is the amplitude. And then pi by 4. Let's calculate it as well. 2 pi by 4 would be pi by 2. Pi by 2 is 0. Cos pi by 2 is 0. So this would be 0. And cos 3 pi by 4 would be 0. Cos 3 pi by 2 is also 0. So this would be again 0. And this cos pi by 2 multiplied by 2, this would give us minus 4. Multiplied by 4 would give us minus 4. This would be 1, 2, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3 and negative 4. This would be this. This would again be 4. So our graph would look like this. Now since it's a modulus 4 cos 2x, this whole negative part will go into positive part. So this negative 4 will convert into positive 4. This part. And this will be the same. This and then this. So we'll be excluding this graph. This graph will be excluded. And the final graph would look like this. So this is our final answer. Now moving on to question 2, it is written, do not use a calculator in this question. Expand and simplify this, giving your answer with a rational denominator. Rational denominator is mentioned here. It should be a rational denominator. So first of all, we need to simplify this. X root 11 whole squared, 2 root 3 minus 1 whole squared. This would give us 11x square over 2 root 3 whole squared would be, I guess, 12. Then minus 2 into 2 root 3 would be minus 4 root 3. Then plus 1. This would be this. Then solving it, we'll be getting 11x square over 13 minus 4 root 3. For simplifying this to make it rational, the denominator be rational, we'll be multiplying it by the conjugate of this. That would be 13 plus 4 root 3 in the denominator and 13 plus 4 root 3 in the numerator. This would be 11x square multiplied by 13 plus 4 root 3, and we'll be applying a square minus b square in the denominator. This would give us 13 square minus 4 root 3 whole squared. So this would be 169 minus 48 This would be 121, 11x square, 13 plus 4 root 3. This would be cancelled by 11. So our final answer would look like x squared 13 plus 4 root 3 over 11. So this is our final answer. Now, moving on to question 3. That would be solving the inequality 5x plus 4 is lesser than equal to 2x minus 3 whole modulus. Both of them are modulus. So by removing modulus, we mean that we need to square both sides. 5x plus 4 will be whole squared, lesser than 2x minus 3 will also be whole squared. So we'll be expanding this we get 25x square plus 40x plus 16 lesser than equal to 4x square minus 12x plus 9. So this would give us our final simplification as 21x square plus 52x plus 7. This would go there to 25 minus 4 is 21, 40 plus 12 is 52, and 16 minus 9 is 7. This would be lesser than equal to 0. Now by using calculator, we can get the values, we can get the roots. We will get the roots as negative 1 over 7 and negative 7 over 3. Now, since the whole function is lesser than equal to 0, so remember that the function, when it is lesser than 0, we'll be using these below lines, which is this is y is equals to 0, and the examiner has asked for the lesser than 0 value. So the values would be in between these two values, and we have the roots as minus 1 over 7 and minus 7 over 3. Minus 7 over 3 is our lesser value, and then x should be in between minus 7 over 3 and minus 1 over 7. So this would be our final answer. Now moving on, question 4 is given as y is equals to sec square 5x minus 10 square 5x upon cosec 5x. First of all, let's simplify this. 1 over sec square 5x is 1 over cos square 5x minus sin square 5x over cos square 5x. 10 square 5x can be written as sin square 5x over cos square 5x. So that's simple. And 1 over cosec 5x would be 1 over sin 5x. Let's simplify this a little bit. These both are common, so this would be 1 over 1 minus sin square 5x over cos square 5x multiplied by sin 5x upon 1. So this would give us our final answer as, and this cos square 5x would be multiplied. Let me just check. I think I made some mistake here. No. Okay. So this 1 minus sin square 5x can be written as, remember the formula, sin square x plus cos square x is equals to 1. So this would be, we need to substitute it. So cos square x would be 1 minus sin squared x, and we can just do this. Cos squared 5x is equals to 1 minus sin squared 5x. So this would mean the same. So this will be cos squared 5x over cos squared 5x multiplied by sin 5x over 1. This would be cancelled and we'll be left with y is equals to sin 5x. Now since we are short of space, let me just remove this. So we get an extra space here. Now we need to integrate it. So for integration, we'll be using pi by 5 as our upper limit and 0 as our lower limit. This would be sin 5x. Here a is 1 and b is 5. So this would be sine 5x integrated is minus cos 5x, and then differentiation of this goes in the denominator. We'll be applying the limits as pi by 5 and 0. This would be minus cos 5 cancelled by 5 would be pi over 5, then plus cos 0 multiplied by 5 is 0 over 5. Upper limit minus lower limit, this would give us our answer as 1 over 5 plus 1 over 5. Our final answer would be 2 over 5. So this would be our final answer. Now moving on to question 5. This is given as show that x minus 1 is a factor of expression x cubed minus 2x square minus 19x plus 1. Now since we need to show this, let's check what value of x we will be plugging. 1 is equals to 0. So that would be x equal to 1. Let's substitute this x equals to 1 into this equation. 1 cubed minus 2 into 1 minus 19 into 1 plus 20. This would be minus 21, and then this would be plus 21. So each and everything would be cancelled and this remainder would be 0. So when the remainder is 0, we conclude that it is a factor. So we have proved it. I hope everything is clear. Now hence write x cube minus 2x square minus 19x plus 20 as a product of its linear factor. Now we can do this by using division technique, or we can just compare the coefficients. I am applying the comparing the coefficients method since this is easier for me. X minus 1 multiplied by ax square plus bx plus c. We have one linear factor. We need two factors. A quadratic equation multiplied by a linear equation would give us a cubic equation. So this is how I have written it. And then we'll be comparing the coefficients. This x would be multiplied by ax square. This would be given ax cube. Then we'll be multiplying x with whole of this equation, and we'll be getting the final answer as ax cubed plus bx squared minus ax square plus cx minus bx minus c. Now we'll be comparing the coefficients. X cube minus 2x square minus 19x plus 20. X cube has a coefficient of 1, so a would be 1. This minus c without x is equals to minus 20 here. So minus c would be 20 and c is equals to minus 20. Now for calculating b, we'll be using this. B minus a is equals to minus 2. So a is given as 1. This 1 would go there and make it, this would be minus 2 plus 1. So b would be minus 1. Our factors are, so this would become, we'll be substituting these values here. We'll be getting it as x square minus x minus 20. By solving this, we'll be getting x squared plus 4x minus 5x minus 20. This would be x plus 4 minus 5, x plus 4, x minus 5, and then x plus 4. So finally our answer would be, x minus 5, x plus 4, and then x minus 1. So this is our final answer. Now going on to part C. Hence, find the exact solution of the equation e power 3y minus 2e power 2y minus 19e power y plus 20 equal to 0. So let's see how this equation is similar to the above equation. This e power 3y is equals to x cube, then minus 2 is similar to this minus 2, then x squared is e power 2y, then e power y is equals to x. So we'll be substituting e power y as x, and we have our x values, x roots as x equals to 5, x equal to -4, and x equals to 1. So we'll be substituting this one by one. E power y is 5. Now solving this by taking ln on both sides, we'll be getting e ln, ln here, ln, we'll be using ln here and then ln here. Ln e is 1, power will come here, so y is equals to ln 5, and then this would be e power y is equals to -4, and ln -4 doesn't exist, so we'll be rejecting it, and then e power y is equals to 1, so we'll be using ln 1 is equals to y, and then y is equals to 0. ln 1 is 0. So these are our final answer. Y is equals to ln 5 and y is equals to 0. Now moving on, this is our question 6, I guess. Yes. A geometric progression has first term 64 and common ratio as 0.5. So R is given as 0.5 and A is given as 64. We have to calculate the 10th term. So term formula is Tn A power A into R powered n minus 1. So we need to calculate T10. That would be A is 64, R is 0.5, and this is 10 minus 1, that would be 9. 64, 0.5 powered 9, this would give us as 0.125. Find the sum of the first 10 numbers. This is our part 2. So for sum of numbers, the sum of numbers is given as Sn is equals to A into 1 minus R power n. This is the formula which is given in our formula sheet as well. So this would be 64, 1 minus 0.5 power 10 over 1 minus 0.5. That would be 1023 over 8 as a final answer. Let's circle the answers. This is our final answer here. This is our final answer here. This was our final answer here as well. This is our final answer. This is our final answer, and then this is our final answer. So we have circled our final answers. Now we need to calculate the sum to infinity. Now sum to infinity is given as A over 1 minus R. We have our A is 64, 1 minus 0.5, we'll get it as 128. So this is our final answer. Now B part is given as an arithmetic progression is such that S20 minus 400 is equals to 2S10, and U1, U6 is 1:5. U1 and U6 is basically T1 and T6, sorry. So let's solve this. Let's apply the S20 formula. Sum of arithmetic progression is given as n upon 2, 2a plus n minus 1 d. So we'll be applying this formula here and here as well. So this would give us as n over 2. Sorry, we are given n as 20. So this would be 20 over 2. 2a plus n is 20. 20 minus 1 is 19. So that would be 19d minus 400 equal to 2 multiplied by 10 over 2. 2a plus 9d. Now solving this, we will get a d, I guess. This would be cancelled by this. This would be 10. This would be cancelled by this. So this would be 10. And then taking 10 as common here. So this would be 10 into 2a plus 19d minus 40 is equals to 10 into 2a plus 9d. So this 10 and 10 would be cancelled out. This 2a and 2a would be cancelled out by subtracting it. That would be 19d minus 9d equal to 40. 10d is equals to 40. Our d will be 4. So we get our d as 4. We have got our d. We need to calculate our a. So for calculating our a, this is given. First term can be written as A. Fifth term can be written as T6, sorry, A plus n minus 1 D. So A is our A, then n minus 1 would be 6 minus 1, 5, and then D. So this would be A plus 5D as 1 is to 5. So this ratio is given, we'll be multiplying it by cross multiplying it. This would be 5A equal to A plus 5D. We have our D, we'll be subtracting A here. So 4A would be 5 into D is 4. So that would be 5 into 4 over 4. That would be A is equals to 5. So we have our A as well. Now we need to finally calculate the sum of first three terms of the progression. So for the sum of three terms would be 3 over 2. 2 into A is given as 5 plus n minus 1 is 3 minus 1 would be 2, and then D, that would be 4. So we'll get our final answer as 2 into 5 is 10, then 2 into 4 is 8, 10 and 8 would be 18, and divided by 2, we will be getting it as 27. So this is our final answer. Now moving on, we'll have our question 7. A part is given as variable x and y are such that y is equals to this. Use differentiation to find the approximate changes in y as x increases from pi by 4 to pi by 4 plus h, where h is small. So we are given small change in x as h, x as pi by 4. We need to calculate small change in y. So for that we need dy by dx at x equals to pi by 4. So let's calculate our dy by dx. We are given our function as y is equals to 1 plus cos square x over 10x equal to, this would be, we'll be using quotient law here, where two functions are divided. So our v will be 10x since it's in the denominator, and our u would be 1 plus cos squared x. So let's solve this. The quotient law states that it is given as v u dash minus u v dash over v square. So this would be written as v is 10x minus 2 sin x cos x. This cos square x would be, power would be multiplied and then differentiated. So this would be given as power as minus 2, power as 2, and then cos x is differentiated and we get as sin x. So this would be minus 2 sin x cos x, and we'll be getting the next term, that would be u v dash. U is given as 1 plus cos square x, and this is would be given as sec square x. 10x differentiation is given as sec square x, and in the denominator we will have 10 square x. Now we have x as pi by 4. We will be substituting x as pi by 4, 10 pi by 4 minus 2 sine pi by 4 cos pi by 4 minus 1 plus cos squared pi by 4, and then 1 over cos squared pi by 4 over 10 squared pi by 4. So we'll get our answer, and this is equals to small change in y over small change in x. Small change in x was calculated by this. X was pi by 4, and then it changed to pi by 4 plus h. So subtracting both these, we will get this as h. So the small change is h. So we'll be substituting it here. So delta y is given as delta y and delta x is h. And this, by solving this, and let's just solve this in our calculator. So we'll be getting our final answer as minus 4 here. So our small change in y would be minus 4 h approximately. Small change in y is approximately minus 4 h. So this is our final answer. Now moving on, we have part B, I guess, which is given as y is equals to 1 over x minus 3 cube. Show that y minus dy by dx minus 1 over 3 d square y dx square can be written as this. So we need dy by dx and d square y dx square. Let's calculate dy by dx and d squared y dx square. So this would be y is equals to x minus 3 power minus 3. This can be simplified to this, and then we can simply derivate it. Dy by dx would be given as power would be multiplied minus 3 x minus 3 and power would be decreased. So this can be finally written as minus 3 over x minus 3 power 4. Now let's differentiate it again. This would be d square y dx square. This would be given as this minus 4 would be multiplied here. That would give us 12 x minus 3 powers decreased. This would be this 12 over x minus 3 powered 5. So this would be our final answer as d square y and dx square. Now let's substitute each and everything here. Here, this would be substituted here and this would be substituted here. So this can be given as y is 1 over x minus 3 whole cubed. This y would be substituted here. 1 over x minus 3 whole cubed plus 3 x minus 3 whole powered 4. Minus would be multiplied by minus 3 here. So this would give us plus 3x minus 3 powered 4. And then minus 1 over 3 multiplied by 12 x minus 3 powered 5. This would be cancelled to give us 4. And we need to now take the LCM. So the LCM would be x minus 3 powered 5. Here we need x minus 3 squared. Here we need x minus 3 only. So x minus 3 whole squared would be x square minus 6x plus 9. Then this would be solved as plus 3x minus 9. Then this would be minus 4. Eventually solving it, we'll be getting it as x squared minus 3x minus 4 over x minus 3 whole powered 5. By solving this numerator, we will get this as x squared. Then the factors would be negative 4x and positive x. So this would be x into x plus 1 minus 4 into x plus 1. So this would be x plus 1, x negative 4, then x negative 3 powered 5. So this would be our final answer, and this was given. So this is proved. Now moving on to question 8, we have the function is defined for x is greater than 0. The x should be greater than 0 by f of x 5 minus 2e power minus x. Let's just simplify it a little bit to get it as 5 minus 2 e powered x over 2 over e powered x. Let's just take x as infinity. Now if we take x as infinity, we get it as e powered 0, and then this denominator would be too large. This would be infinity. So this whole thing would be 0. So this whole thing would become 0. So x can be 5. Maximum it can be 5. And let's calculate the lower value. Then for lower value, we'll be substituting x as 0 since it can't be lesser than 0. It was given here. So this is 5 minus 2 e powered 0. E powered 0 would make it 1. So this would be 5 minus 2. This is equals to 3. So the domain of f inverse x would be 3 till 5. But this 5 will not be included because this cannot be infinity anyways. So now moving on to part 3, part 2. Solve f of f inverse x equals to 5x root 5x minus 4. Let's just do it first. F of inverse of x would be given as y is equals to 5 minus 2 e powered x. This would be solved to get 5 minus y as 2 e powered x. Then e powered x would be 2 over 5 minus y. ln, we'll apply ln on both sides. We'll get this as ln e is 1. ln e is 1. So this would be x ln 2 over 5 minus y. And we can substitute f inverse x would be, get f inverse x as ln 2 over 5 minus x. Now let's substitute it in f of x. That would be 5 minus 2 e powered minus ln 2 5 minus x. So by solving this, we get it as 5 minus 2 over 5 minus x. Now by solving this further, we need a little more space. I guess we can solve here. Just solve here. It's too less of a space given. So that would be 5 minus 2 multiplied by 5 minus x divided by 2. Be simplifying this to get this. This 2 would be cancelled. And we'll be equating this x equals to 5 root 5x minus 4. We'll be squaring this both sides. We'll get this as x squared minus 5x, minus 5x plus 4 as 0. So we'll be getting this as x minus 1 and x minus 4. Let's just put it in calculator and we'll be getting this answer. So our x would be 1 and x would be 4. Now x can't be 1 because if we look in the domain of f inverse x, this was 3 till 5. So 1 will be rejected. And this will be our final answer for our part 2. Now let's come on to the part 3. On the axis, sketch the graph of y is equals to f of x and hence sketch the graph of y is equals to f inverse x. Show clearly the positions of any points where your graph meet the coordinate axis and the positions of any asymptote. So for asymptotes, we already know that this would remain till 3 till 5, and for f of x, the domain or the range, for f of x, the range would be 3 till 5, and for f inverse x, the domain would be 3 till 5. That would be like this. So let's just take an example that this is 3 and this is, let's say, 5. This is 3 and this is 5. And for x-axis, this is 3 and let's just say this is 5. So let's just make 5 as our asymptote on both y and x-axis, because they both would be our asymptotes. So for f of x, this would start at 3 and then move till here. And since it is an asymptote, this would not be touching the y is equals to 5 line. So this is our f of x. Now our f of inverse of x would be, it would be starting from 3. Our domain would be starting from 3 and going till 5, because it's an asymptote at 5. It wouldn't be touching 5. Here we have stated it in part A. So this would be our final graph. This is y is equals to x line. We can check this. This is 3 equal to 3, then this would be this. Sorry. Let's just take a scale to just make a line over here. So this is our final line, y is equals to x line. Let's just remove our ruler. So this would be our part 3. Now moving on to part B. I guess part B is given as the function g is defined as 0x 0 till 0.2. G of x is 3 till 3 over 1 minus x. Our f of inverse of x was given as this. So that would be ln 2 over 5 minus x. Now we need to substitute g of x here. Our g of x is given as 3 over 1 minus x. Let's substitute it. That would be ln 2 over 5 minus 3 over 1 minus x. So this would be giving us as 2 into 1 minus x. Taking LCM, that would be 5 minus 5x. Then minus 3. That over 1 minus x is then multiplied here. So our final answer would be ln 2 minus 2x over 2 minus 5x. So this would be a final answer. Let's just circle our final answers as well. Previous final answer, I guess we are done. Okay. So now moving on to question 9. The diagram shows sectors AOB and COD of two circles with the same centers O. Angle AOB is 3 pi by 8 and the length of OC is 6.5. It is given that OAC and OBD are straight lines and ON OC ratio is 4:5. Find the perimeter of the shaded region. So for shaded region, we need length of CD. Let's just mark it by a different color. This would be this CD, this AD, this BD, and this AC. So now moving on, we need these three lengths. AB can be calculated simply, I guess, because CD can be calculated simply, because we are given our OC, that is radius. Let's just calculate our OA radius as well. So our OC is given as 6.5, OA and OC ratio is given as 4:5. We have our OC as 6.5. So we'll be substituting 6.5 here. OA over 6.5 is equals to 4:5. So this would give us our OA as 5.2. Our OA is 5.2. Now we need the perimeter of the shaded region. We have already seen that we need AC, BD, AB and CD. So for perimeter, we need CD, AB plus BD plus AC. And BD and AC are equal because this length and this length is equal. These two are radius and these two are again radius. So these two lengths would be equal. And these two lengths would be 2 multiplied by 6.5 minus 5.2. Since this is 5.2 and this whole is 6.5. As OC is 6.5 and OA is 5.2. And for CD, we'll be using R theta. S is equals to R theta's formula, which is given in our formula sheet. And for AB, we'll be using R theta again. This would be our R1 and then this would be our R2. Let's just see it. CD would be OC multiplied by theta. OC is 6.5 multiplied by 3 by 8. And then OA is 5.2 multiplied by 3 pi by 8, adding 2 into 1.3. So we'll get our final answer as, let's calculate it. We get our final answer as 16.38, which can be written as 16.4 and one significant figure. Now moving on, we have our part B as diagram shows a circle with center O and radius A. Sector PQR is a sector of different circle with center R and radius Y. Angle OPR is phi. Find in terms of A and phi only the total area of the three shaded regions. Simplify your answer. So let's just think about the shaded region. Shaded region can be given as area of circle minus area of sector, that is Q, P and R, and circle is the whole circle. We have our radius of circle as A and we don't need anything else. For area of sector we need 1 upon 2 R square theta. I don't think we have our R and we don't have our theta. So let's calculate our theta. Our theta would be, just make this line over here. This would be A as well. And then let's calculate this theta. This theta would be again phi, because this length and this length is equals. This is phi, so this would be phi as well. So this whole thing would be 2 phi. So we have our theta as well. But we have our area of sectors, radius and y. So we need to change this y as well. We have this as our y. Since PR is also the radius of the sector, we can write it as y. Now let's just use our 180 minus, this would be 180 minus 2 phi, because the sum of all triangles is sum of all angles of triangle is 180 and 2 are given as 2 phi. So this would be 180 minus 2 phi. So this angle would be 180 minus 2 phi. Two angles are given as 2 phi. This angle would be 180 minus 2 phi. Now let's just calculate it. Now let's just use cosine rule. Using cosine rule to calculate. Using cosine rule to calculate y. So that would be y square equal to a square plus a square. We are using cosine rule here. Minus 2 into a cos pi minus 2 phi. 180 can be written as pi. Since we are using radian measure, so we'll be using this. So let's just write this first. That would be pi. A square is our radius. A is our radius, so that would be a square. And we are given as 1 upon 2 y square, then 2 phi. That 2 and 2 would be cancelled. This would be y square and phi. Sorry, this would be negative. This y square can be substituted. Sorry, the arrow is, this y square would be substituted here. So this can be written as pi a square, then minus pi is common, 2a square minus 2a square cos pi minus 2 phi. Taking 2 also as common, we'll be getting it as pi a square minus 2 phi a square minus a square cos phi minus 2 phi. So this is our final answer of area of shaded region. Now moving on to question 10. I think this would be our last question. No, we have the next question as well. So this is given as a particle P moves in a straight line such that t seconds after passing a fixed point, its acceleration is given as a is equals to 60 for t in between 0 till 3, and a is equals to 18 e cubed over e power t for t is greater than or equal to 3. So when t is equals to 1, the velocity is 2 and its displacement is minus 4. We need to calculate the velocity. So for velocity, we need to integrate our acceleration with respect to time. So this is given as, for the first 3 seconds, it is given as 60. So velocity integration 60. So this would be given as velocity as 3t square plus c. Now using initial conditions, v as 2 meters per second and t as 1. So this would be 2, 3 into 1 whole squared plus c. This would be c is equals to minus 1. So our velocity's equation would be 3t square minus 1. Now we need the velocity at t is equals to 3. So t is equals to 3 would be velocity is equals to 3 into 3 squared minus 1. So this would be 27 minus 1 and this would be 26. Moving on to part 2. Find the displacement of P from O when t is equals to 3. Now for displacement, we need to integrate our velocity with respect to time. Our velocity's equation was given as this, 3t square minus 1. We're substituting it here, 3t square minus 1 for our displacement. Now to calculate our displacement, it would be integration. This power would be added, so it would be 3 and then this would go in the denominator and 3 would be cancelled out. This would make t cube. Then this minus any constant is multiplied by the variable. That would be t cubed minus t plus c is equals to s. Now applying initial conditions, our displacement was given as minus 4 when t is equals to 1. S is equals to minus 4. T is equals to 1. This would be minus 4. 1 cubed minus 1 plus c. So this would be c as minus 4. So our displacement's equation would be t cubed minus t minus 4. Now applying t as equals to 3 in the equation. S is equals to 3 cubed minus 3 minus 4 would be 27 minus 7. This would be 20. So our displacement would be S is equals to 20 at t is equals to 3. Now moving on to part B. Find an expression in terms of t for the displacement of P from O when t is greater than equal to 3. Now greater than equal to 3 is talked about, so we'll be using these formulas. Let's just write it over here. Our acceleration is given as 18 e power 3 and e power minus t. We'll be integrating it to get our velocity. So this integration would be 18 e powered 3 e powered minus t to get our velocity. So for this integration, we'll be integrating this part only. This is our constant. This will go out. So this would be 18 e powered 3 integration of e powered minus t. This is integrated by calculating the differentiation of this. This differentiation is minus 1 and this differentiation will go into the denominator. This would be 18 e powered 3 e powered minus t and then negative. So this is given as velocity is equals to this and then plus c. Now let's just move a little bit back. So here our velocity was 26 when our t is equals to 3. And here when our t is equals to 3, our displacement was 20. Let's just use this initial conditions. These were v is equals to 26 and t is equals to 3. 26 minus 18 e power 3 and then e power minus 3 plus c. We'll get our c as, just calculate it, 26 plus 18 e power 3 over e power 3. This would be 44. This and this would be cancelled out. Now moving, we can write this whole equation as 18 e power 3 e power minus t plus 44. We'll be again integrating it to get our displacement. So our integration would be minus 18 e power 3 e power minus t plus 44. So we'll get our integration as minus 18 e power 3 e power minus t plus 44 will be integrated. So this would be minus 18 e power 3. This would be e power minus t, and then minus 1 will be cancelled out. This would be plus 44t. And then s is equals to plus. Remember our s was 20 when t was 3. Let's substitute this in this equation to get our c. We'll be getting our c as, I guess, 18 power 3 e power 3. This e power 3 would be cancelled out. Then plus 44 multiplied by 3. We have our displacement as 20, and then this is c. So this would give us as 44 multiplied by 3 is 132 plus 18 is 150, and 150 minus 20 would be minus 130 is equals to c. So our final displacements equation would be s is equals to 18 e power 3 e power t plus 44t minus 130. This will be our final answer. Since we needed an expression, we are done with the expression. Now moving on to question 11, I guess this is our final part. The normal to the curve y is equals to sine 4x minus pi at the point this a comma 0 where pi by 2 till pi a exists in pi by 2 till pi meets the y-axis at the point b. Find the exact area of the triangle OAB where O is the origin. Now, first of all, we need to calculate our a. For a, we'll be substituting y as 0 in the equation. Y is equals to sine 4x minus pi. Since y is 0, so this would be sine 4x minus pi. This would be sine inverse 0 is equals to 4x minus pi. Sine inverse 0 is 0, I guess. Sine inverse 0 is 0, so this would be pi by 4, and it can't be pi by 4 because the range is pi by 2 till pi. So this can be either 0 or this can be either pi. So this would be this, and by solving it, you'll get it as 2 pi by 4. That would be, no, I think I'm making a mistake over here. Just simplify it a little bit. So this is y is equals to sine 4x minus pi at the point a comma 0. So let's substitute this to get our a. So this would be 0 sine 4x minus pi. Now sine inverse 0 is given as either 0 or pi. This is 4x minus pi. So this would be, this pi would go over there. So this would be pi, and then pi by 4, and this pi would go over there to 2 pi by 4. So this would be 2 pi by 4. No, I don't think this would be like this. So make no mistake over here. No, this can't be like this. Wait, it can't be 2 pi by 4, I guess, since it's not pi by 2. Let's just solve this again. Try to solve this again. This would be 0 sine 4x minus pi, and this would be 0 is equals to 4x minus pi, and then our x would be, x or a would be 3 pi by 4. We'll get our answer as 3 pi by 4. Now we have our, now since we have our x and a, we can calculate dy by dx to just negatively reciprocate it and get our normal's gradient. So that would be dy by dx equal to sine 4x minus pi. So that would be, its differentiation will go out. That would be 4. Sine's differentiation is cos 4x minus pi. So this would be a dy by dx. Now applying, now our normal's gradient would be negative 1 over 4 cos 4x minus pi. Substituting x, that was 3 pi by 4 over here. This would give us minus 1 over 4 cos 4 into 3 pi by 4. This would be 0 minus pi. That would be 2 pi. 2 pi is 1. So that would be negative 1 over 4. So we get our normal's gradient as negative 1 over 4. Let's just make an equation of normal. That would be y minus 0. Remember that is given as y minus y1 m into x minus x1. This is y minus 0, negative 1 over 4 x minus, that would be 3 pi by 4. So we'll get our final answer as y is equals to negative 1 over 4 x positive 3 pi by 16. Now at y-axis, x equals to 0. Since this normal meets the y-axis at point B, y-axis x equals to 0. Let's plug in x equals to 0 here. We get our y as 3 pi by 16. So our coordinates would be a is equals to 3 pi by 4, comma 0. B would be 0, comma 3 pi by 16. And an origin would be 0, comma 0. So we need to calculate the area of this OAB. So this triangle would look like something like this. So this would be our base and this would be our height. So change in y is this change in y, and this change in x is change in this x. So that would be 1 over 2, 3 pi by 4 and 3 pi by 16. So this would make it as 9 pi square over 128. Now this was all from my side. I hope you understood the past paper, and remember to subscribe, like and share, because it's for a Palestinian cause.